you guys are stretching, I want you guys to think about when you run, about what your body does when you run, like what changes and what happens. So why don't we go through and brainstorm some ideas to what happens to your body, like say your muscles,
like your quads contract, your hamstrings contract whenever you're running.
What about your heart? What's your heart do?
Your heart starts to speed up as the faster you go, the harder your heart starts to beat, and the longer you go, the more beats per minute you start to get.
Right, and you start breathing a little harder, and your lungs a little harder. So, and that's what we're going to talk about today, is your breathing. We're just going to go through a little basic of how your respiratory system works. So, the first thing we're going to do is I want you to, we'll go back and forth and brainstorm some ideas, brainstorm some different ideas that we think are part of the respiratory system. So let's say your nose is part of the respiratory system.
Okay, your mouth.
Right.
Your lungs.
Throat. So yeah, those are good ones. But what we're going to work on, we're going to focus on 3. What we're going to do is we're going to just focus on the nasal cavity, the pharynx, and the lungs.
Okay.
And let's get basic on those. And what we're going to do is we're just going to learn a basic description and a basic function. Let's see, so usually when you guys are in groups. So what we're going to do is I want you guys to, you're going to work on the nasal cavity. Why don't we do brainstorm some different descriptions of the nasal cavity.
You got the nostrils.
So we have nostrils. Good.
And then it goes back down behind you through your pharynx.
Yeah, so it's nasal. We got our cartilage right here too.
Yeah.
Those are bones. Good. Well, a basic description of the nasal cavity is a hollow space in the nose. So that's what we're going to use for our description. It's just a hollow space in the nose. So now that we have our description, we're going to look at the function of the nasal cavity.
It's to get oxygen to and from the lungs.
Good, that's a good one. What we're going to use for that is the same thing. The nasal cavity is a filter. It warms and moistens air during inhalation. So you're not breathing that cold air into your lungs. It gets to your nostrils and nasal cavity and warms, and so it gets to your lungs, not cold. So our function would be to
warm the air for inhalation.
Yeah, warm, filter, and moisten air during inhalation. Here's our description. We'll put a D next to this one. Here's our function.
Okay.
Nasal cavity. So now we have the nasal cavity. The next step we can use, what do you think the next part would be between the nasal cavity, the pharynx, and the lungs?
The pharynx.
Good. Pharynx is next.
Because it separates the two.
Right. That's good. Pretty much the description right there. Description is just the oral. It's a chamber in the oral cavity that lies between the nasal cavity and the larynx, which is part of the trachea, but we're not going to work with that right now. Description would be chamber between the oral cavity So now we have our description here. We're going to go look at the function. So what do you think some possible functions for the pharynx could be?
To filter out food and stuff, so food doesn't go into your lungs.
Perfect. The opens and closes depending on whether you're breathing or eating. So you said it's perfect. I'm gonna filter air to lungs and food to the stomach. Perfect. So now we have our first two. Last one left.
Mouth.
Oh, between the three, the nasal cavity, the pharynx, and the lungs, right?
Yeah, we have lungs, which is the final stop.
Lungs are last. So, like we did with the first two, we need description and the function of the lungs. So, what do you think a description could be for the lungs? Like, what's their, I guess their shape could be, or how would they feel?
Yeah, they're kind of like tissue that holds air and stuff, and
Good.
sends it to the heart and the brain, and
Through their vessels?
and it also takes the carbon monoxide out of the blood after the heart and brain
Yeah, that would
stuff use it, then it filters it back out.
Yeah, that's into the function. So a simple description would be a soft cone-shaped organ that's located in your chest. So we're going to use that for a description. Our description. So our function, which you already said, was it's simple. There for air exchange, brings clean oxygen in and flows out the bad oxygen. So simple. Gas or air exchange. Alright, so in front of you I passed out a table for a description and function of the chart, a description and function chart, and I so kindly put in three organs we have.
Oh, okay.
So now I want you to go through with your neighbor that's not here and go ahead and fill that table out. So do it with me just in case. So description of the nasal cavity would be
Hollow space in the nose.
right.
And the function is warm, filter, and moisten air during inhalation.
Right. Yeah, write it all down. Just make fun. So the pharynx, simple description would be
A chamber between oral and nasal cavity.
good. And then a simple function of the
Filters out between food and air depending on whether you're eating or breathing.
good answer. Now the lungs. So a simple description would be
Soft cone-shaped organ located in the chest.
right. And then the function.
Gas/air exchange. It takes in the good oxygen to the heart and the brain and everything, and it sends out the bad out through your mouth or nasal cavity.
Good. Alright, now that everyone's stretching, we understand our respiratory system a little better. Because we can't do it. What we're going to do is just do it's called an oral callback. So I'm going to ask a question, and as a class, I want you guys to answer it all at once. So, what is the description of the nasal cavity?
Hollow space in the nose.
What about description of pharynx?
The chamber between oral and nasal cavity.
Perfect. So why don't we give me the function of the lungs.
A gas/air exchange.
Good. So since you got that, do you think you'll be able to, on this diagram we have, I know we haven't gone over it, where they're exactly located. Do you think you could point out and label those three organs?
Yes.